This is Amanda. You're watching Book with Amanda. I'm here to talk books with you. I'm coming back at you today with my March TBR. I do have quite an extensive list. Once again, I don't think I'm going to get to all of them, but I am sure going to try. So to start off, we're actually going to finish, or I'm going to finish The Stranger in the Woods by Michael Finkel. This is a book about a man who left everything behind. He moved into the woods in Maine, I believe it is, and he lived there on his own for almost 30 years. And this author, from what I understand, heard about his story and was really intrigued by it. So this is actually a book club book for my book club I belong to. So I'm going to work on finishing that first. That way I'm ready for my meeting this month. Next, we have Lost Boy, The True Story of Captain Hook by Christina Henry. This is basically a retelling of Peter Pan from Captain Hook's perspective, and maybe how he isn't exactly the bad guy we've all made him out to be. And maybe Peter is not as innocent as we've made him out to be. So this one, when I heard about it, I was super intrigued. I knew I had to pick it up. I saw it on Book Outlet, and I grabbed that as soon as I saw it. So next, we have The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. This is also another newer release, and it is revolving around two timelines, I think 1950 or so, and then 2014. And basically it follows a group of 4 girls at a boarding school for, I guess, like bad seeds, pretty much. And in the 50s, this group of girls. And then it also follows a woman in 2014 who is, I think she's a journalist who's writing about a story regarding this boarding school. I'm not too sure. It is supposed to be very mysterious, so I don't like to know too much going into it. That way it doesn't spoil anything for me. But basically, from what I understand, there's a little bit of a horror element. So I'm thinking like we're looking at a ghost or something. Anyway, the minute I heard about it, I was very intrigued by it. And again, I saw this when I went shopping with my gift certificates after Christmas, and I picked that up as soon as I saw it because I remembered I wanted to read it, and you know how it goes. Just add to the TBR even if you don't get through it. Yeah, I have that problem just like I'm sure lots of you do. Next, or I guess the rest of them are actually going to be library books, mostly through the Libby app. If you don't utilize your public library or the Libby app, I highly recommend it. Libby is also overdrive for some people. Your library, you pay for it, you know. You contribute taxes usually, which help pay for that library. And honestly, you save so much money. I wish I had an actual breakdown of what I spent on books versus what I saved using the library. I am sure that I have saved thousands in the last year alone, not even the last year. So utilize it if you can. Keep them around. Libraries are not just books either. There's usually programs for kids, adults. I mean, I have a book club through my library. I'm an advocate for libraries big time. So I highly recommend checking out your local library, seeing what they offer, you know, instead of consistently buying books. I mean, I do both. So I can speak on behalf of my library, but definitely check your library out. Moving on, after my little tirade public service announcement, I don't know what you want to call it. Anyway, I have By Chance Alone by Mac Eason, I don't know how to pronounce that. That's basically the story of man slash boy slash man. I mean, he's 15, I think, when the story kind of starts to get bad. So we'll say boy man. He is basically his survival story of the Holocaust. This is actually a Canada Reads finalist. So I do want to get that read this month because I think the panel is in March, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but it's coming up and I haven't read a lot. So um, that is also going to be like a top priority for me. Next I have An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. Um, I don't know too much about it. I have read other Sherry Lapina books, but it's, I guess, like a thriller murder mystery type of thing. I heard it's actually better than her, I think it was A Stranger in the House that I read. Um, I don't, again, like to know a lot because I don't want to spoil anything for myself, but I have been waiting for this book from my library for like 3 months or 4 months or something, and it's coming up in March, so I definitely am going to get to reading that. Next, I want to read Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I am so sorry if I butchered that. But basically, I did watch the movie. You might have seen the movie if that sounds familiar to you. It's about teens that are in a boarding school and they're actually not told or taught anything really about the outside world. They don't have any contact with the outside world. And one day they leave the campus and they discover that the boarding school is hiding a secret and it's not really what they think it is. I do kind of know the ending, but I do want to read the book to see how it differs from the movie. The movie was not bad, so yeah, I definitely am interested in that, and I have that coming up in March through my library. And then next I have My Love Story by Tina Turner, and basically it is her story from her early years, I think growing up, and then making it with her husband, and then I think it kind of covers her years with her husband that obviously weren't so good if you know her story a little bit. And then it goes right through to her comeback in the 80s and then I think up to present day. So it covers her entire life, which a lot of the Tina Turner stuff out there just covers the early stuff and the stuff with her husband, her ex-husband. So very interested to see beginning to end basically for her. I mean, no, she's still here, but you know what I mean. And that is also a part of my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, and that is the one for Read a Book by Musician. So next we have On the Come Up by Angie Thomas, and that is the short version. Basically is a story of a young girl struggles to make it big as a rapper and just kind of what she goes through personally, her struggles to survive. She obviously is not in a very good financial situation, so just kind of what she has to do, basically, from what I understand. This is a new release out last month, or I guess it's the end of February, so out this month, and that's a Pop Sugar challenge for me. That's actually going to be my read a book released in 2019. So finally, we have Wild by Cheryl Strayed, and that's was also made into a movie. I feel like I have a theme this year so far, but it was also released into a movie, and it basically follows a woman who has gone through some devastating life changes, or devastating to her anyway, and it's kind of her journey of discovery of herself and her hiking journey. I believe it's like 1,000 or more miles through the Pacific Crest Trail. I have not seen the movie. I do want to see the movie, but I also kind of want to read the story first because I know it is different. I mean, I know there's a huge argument, and if you are a fan of the book, you're a purist, and you know what I mean? It's a lot different apparently, but I'm interested to read that, and I actually decided to substitute this book in my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. Possibly, if I can get to it, I'm going to check it off as read a book about a hobby, because hiking is technically a hobby. It's also exercise, but it is a hobby. So if I do get to it, it's not a high priority for me, but I will check that off as one of my Pop Sugar challenges. And basically, I do have a few other books that I have on my TBR, but they are going to be for a separate video, so I'm not going to share them here. You're going to have to wait and see what that ends up being. I'm hopefully looking to release that at the end of March, beginning of April. to coincide with something that's happening in that time frame. So that's a good incentive to subscribe below, like this video, and thank you for watching today. I will talk to you again soon. Bye.